Success never arrives in a single explosion of glory. It's not a one-time event, not a lucky break, and certainly not an overnight transformation. Real success grows quietly, almost invisibly through 1,000 small victories that most people overlook. The world celebrates the finish line, but what truly matters are the invisible footsteps that led there. The small wins that you repeat day after day when no one is watching. When no one claps for you and when your results barely move. That's where greatness is born. Every great success story begins with something small, a spark, a seed, a single decision to move forward when everything seems uncertain. People look at those who have achieved greatness and assume it was one big leap that changed everything. But that's a myth. True success is not a sudden explosion of fortune. It's a slow, patient accumulation of tiny victories that nobody claps for. It's built in silence in the ordinary hours when no one is watching. In the moments when your motivation has faded and only your discipline remains. Every great empire began with one brick. Every champion began with one step. Every genius began with one simple action, repeated again and again long after the excitement was gone. You see, small wins are the foundation upon which every dream is built. They may seem insignificant in the beginning. A morning routine, a single page written, a single workout completed, a single sale made. But over time, these little moments compound. They create a rhythm, a momentum that begins to shift your life in ways you can't yet see. The mistake most people make is that they underestimate the power of these tiny victories. They think progress must be dramatic to be meaningful. They look for big results too quickly, and when they don't arrive, they quit. But real progress hides inside the ordinary. The big win you dream of will one day emerge from a collection of small wins you barely noticed. When you understand this, you stop chasing miracles and start respecting effort. You stop waiting for the perfect opportunity and start making the most of what you have. Every single time you choose to do something that aligns with your goals, you create a small win. Waking up early instead of sleeping in, that's a win. Learning a new skill instead of wasting time scrolling, that's a win. Saying no to distractions, another win. These moments might not change your life today, but they are shaping your character, your habits, and your destiny. Success doesn't begin the day the world applauds you. It begins the day you decide to win privately, silently, consistently. Think of it like this. Success is a staircase, not an elevator. Most people stand at the bottom, waiting for an elevator that never arrives. They want speed without effort, shortcuts without sacrifice. But the truth is, you climb step by step. Every step feels small, almost meaningless on its own. But when you look back after a while, you realize how far you've come. That's what small wins do. They turn effort into momentum, and momentum into transformation. And once momentum starts working in your favor, it becomes unstoppable. You no longer fight to stay motivated. Your progress itself becomes your motivation. But small wins are not only about actions. Why small wins build greatness? They're also about mindset. Winning small means celebrating effort, not just results. It's about learning to take pride in doing your best today, even when no one notices. Most people fail because they only celebrate big outcomes. They wait for something huge before feeling proud. But the secret is to feel proud every time you take one more step toward your vision. When you begin to honor small wins, you reprogram your brain to crave progress, not perfection. And when your mind loves progress, you become unstoppable. It's easy to look at successful people and think they were born with something special. Luck, talent, intelligence. But if you could look closer, you'd see a long list of small wins behind every major achievement. You'd see years of ordinary days, days filled with discipline, with consistency, with focus. You'd see countless moments when they could have given up but didn't. Every no they heard became fuel. Every failure became feedback. Every minor improvement became a step toward mastery. That's the secret the world doesn't tell you. Success is not glamorous in the beginning. It's messy, repetitive, and lonely. But those who learn to fall in love with the process eventually build the life others only dream of. When you commit to small wins, something powerful happens. You begin to trust yourself. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, no matter how small your confidence grows, you no longer depend on motivation because your identity changes. You stop saying, I want to be successful, and start saying, I am becoming successful. You stop seeking validation from others and start respecting your own journey. Each small win becomes proof that you can rely on yourself, and that quiet belief is the foundation of every great accomplishment. But here's the challenge. Small wins don't feel exciting. They don't make headlines. They don't get you applause. In fact, they often feel boring. And that's why most people quit too early. They want fireworks, not footsteps. They want rapid results, not gradual progress. But the truth is, mastery hides inside repetition. The small tasks that seem meaningless today are preparing you for the big opportunities of tomorrow. The discipline you build while no one is watching will become the strength that carries you when everyone is watching. Every small win is like a hidden deposit into your future success account. One day, when the compound interest of your consistency pays off, people will call you lucky, but you will know the truth. You weren't lucky. You were consistent. Think about an athlete training alone long before competition day. Every drop of sweat, every repetition, every hour of practice. Those are small wins. Think about the writer who types page after page, deleting more than he keeps. Each sentence is a small win. Think about the entrepreneur who makes one call after another, facing rejection daily. Each attempt is a small win. Over time, these small wins form habits. Habits create mastery, and mastery leads to greatness. Every single success you admire in this world is built upon small victories that once looked ordinary. So when you wake up tomorrow, don't ask yourself, how can I win big today? Ask instead, how can I win small today? Can you do one thing that moves you closer to your dream? Can you learn one new thing? Can you show up with a better attitude than yesterday? Can you stay consistent just one more day? Because when you stack enough of those small wins, the impossible becomes possible. You don't have to conquer the mountain in a day. Just take one more step, and then another, and then another. One day, you'll look back and realize that your life didn't change in a single moment. It changed quietly, gradually. The power of daily discipline, invisibly. It changed through all those mornings you didn't quit. All those nights you kept going. All those tiny victories you collected while the world was sleeping. That is the magic of small wins. They may seem small today, but they build a future so big that everyone else will wonder how you did it. And the answer will be simple. You won small every single day. Failure. It's the word that scares most people before they even begin. The word that makes dreams smaller, makes people cautious, makes hearts shrink. But what if failure wasn't your enemy? What if failure was the very ingredient that shapes success? The truth most people don't realize is that success is not built from winning alone. It's built from losing, learning, adjusting, and showing up again. Every small win you achieve in life is usually born out of a moment where you refuse to let failure define you. Every setback hides within it the seed of a small victory if you choose to keep going. When you think about success, don't imagine a straight road paved with confidence and clarity. Picture instead a winding path full of obstacles, detours, and storms. The people who reach the top are not the ones who never fall. They are the ones who fall, learn why they fell, and stand up stronger each time. Every failure you face is not a wall blocking your path. It's a mirror showing you where you need to improve. Every rejection is not a punishment. It's redirection towards something better. Every time you fail, but decide to try again, you create a small win, a victory of spirit, a triumph of perseverance, a step closer to mastery. You see, the real definition of a winner is not someone who never fails. It's someone who never gives up. Those who succeed the most are also those who fail the most because they dared the most. They risked, they attempted, they stepped into the unknown again and again. Failure didn't weaken them, it trained them. It built resilience, sharpened their perspective, and gave them wisdom no classroom could ever offer. Success may look shiny, but its roots grow deep in the soil of failure. Every time you stumble, the ground beneath you is teaching you how to balance better next time. But the problem is most people give up too early. They experience failure and mistake it for a final verdict. They hear no and translate it as never. But failure doesn't mean you can't do it. It simply means you can't do it yet. The word yet changes everything. It turns failure into feedback. It turns pain into growth. It turns every disappointment into preparation. When you adopt that mindset, failure becomes your greatest ally, not your biggest fear. You start to see that each failure contains lessons that no success could ever teach you. Think about this. When everything goes right, you learn nothing. Comfort teaches you nothing. Ease makes you soft. But when things go wrong, when plans collapse, when you lose what you thought you needed, that's when you discover who you really are. Failure strips away your illusions, your excuses, your false confidence. It leaves behind only truth. It forces you to rebuild yourself with more clarity and more strength. And in that rebuilding, you create countless small wins, Small improvements, small realizations, small steps forward that eventually form the foundation of something unbreakable. The most successful people in the world didn't get there because they were lucky they got there, because they were willing to look stupid, to fall flat, to try again after everyone else quit. They were willing to be embarrassed, criticized, and underestimated. Every note they received became fuel. Every rejection became a reminder that success isn't owed to anyone. It's earned by those who persist when failure feels unbearable. Each time they faced defeat, they didn't walk away. They extracted a lesson and moved forward. They collected these lessons like precious treasures because they understood that small wins born from failure are far more valuable than temporary comfort. When you fail, you build resilience, the inner muscle that pushes you through pain. Resilience doesn't appear overnight. It's built one small recovery at a time. Every time you rise after being knocked down, you reinforce your strength. Every time you refuse to quit, you create a new version of yourself, wiser, tougher, more focused. Over time, these moments of success is a slow climb, not a quick leap. Resilience compound into unstoppable confidence. You begin to realize that you are not defined by what happens to you, but by how you respond. Failure may test your limits, but every small win that follows expands them. And here's the truth. Failure hurts because it exposes effort without reward. It's painful to try your best and still lose. It's painful to care deeply and see no progress. But those who can endure that pain without quitting are the ones who eventually win big. Why? Because while others stop, they continue stacking small victories in silence. They may not see results today or tomorrow, but each attempt is strengthening their foundation. Success in the long run doesn't belong to the most talented. It belongs to the most stubborn. The one who refuses to give up eventually leaves behind the one who does. Let's be honest, no one enjoys failing. No one enjoys rejection, loss, or disappointment. But when you look back years later, you'll realize that your biggest growth didn't happen when everything went right. It happened when everything went wrong. That heartbreak, that failed business, that rejection letter, that mistake, those were your greatest teachers. They taught you humility, patience, and strategy. They refined your purpose. They forced you to evolve. And in that evolution, you found strength you didn't know you had. Each time you got up, that was a win. Each time you chose to keep faith in yourself, that was a win. Each time you said, I'll try again, you were creating the DNA of success. Don't run from failure. Respect it. Let it shape you, not shatter you. Every person who has achieved greatness has walked through a valley of defeat. But they didn't stay there. They used failure as a ladder. Each mistake was a step upward. Each disappointment became motivation. Each loss became a lesson. That's why success tastes so sweet, because it's earned through struggle. If success came easy, it would mean nothing. But when you've fallen blood and sacrificed for it, success becomes sacred. It becomes part of who you are. You must understand that failure and small wins are twins. They live together. Failure gives birth to small wins, and small wins give meaning to failure. When you fail and rise again, that is a small win. When you face rejection but still apply again, that's a small win. When your idea doesn't work but you brainstorm another one, that's another win. Over time, these small recoveries create unstoppable momentum. You become unbreakable because you no longer fear loss. You know how to rebuild. You no longer fear rejection. You know how to move forward. You no longer fear failure. You see it as feedback. So don't hide from failure, chase it. Embrace it. Let it teach you what success can't. Every failure contains hidden instruction, but only the brave find it. The difference between those who succeed and those who don't is simple. Successful people mine their failures for gold. Unsuccessful people bury theirs and walk away. Every small win after failure is a piece of that gold. A sign that you're growing, that you're learning, that you're still in the game while others have left the field. Remember, this failure is not the end of your story. It's a powerful chapter within it. Without failure, success loses its meaning. Without falling, standing tall means nothing. The key is to never let a single defeat define your identity. Let it refine you instead. Let it build in you the habit of resilience, the ability to find small victories in dark times. Those little moments of courage, those quiet comebacks, those uncelebrated recoveries, they are the true bricks of greatness. So the next time you fail, smile. You've just been handed your next opportunity to grow. Take it, learn, adjust, try again. Because every time you fail and rise, you're winning small. And those small wins, collected through pain and persistence, will one day become the unstoppable force that carries you to your ultimate success. Most people spend their entire lives chasing the illusion of perfection. The perfect plan, the perfect moment, the perfect opportunity. They keep waiting for everything to line up before they start. But perfection is rewiring your mind for consistency a trap. It keeps you paralyzed. It makes you believe you're not ready, not good enough, not capable yet. The truth is, no one ever starts perfectly. Every master you admire once began as a beginner who dared to take the first step imperfectly. Success is not about doing everything right from the start. It's about improving yourself little by little every single day. It's not the giant leaps that create greatness. It's the daily steps, the slow sharpening of your skills, the tiny decisions that keep you moving forward when others stop. Focusing on daily improvement instead of perfection changes everything. It shifts your attention from outcomes to effort, from fear to growth. It teaches you to respect the process instead of chasing instant results. When you aim for perfection, every small mistake feels like failure. But when you aim for progress, every mistake becomes a teacher. The secret is not to compare yourself to others, but to compare yourself to who you were yesterday. That's the only competition that truly matters. If you can end today even one step wiser, stronger, or more disciplined than you were yesterday, then you are already winning. The problem with perfection is that it paralyzes people with doubt. They look at the success of others, their achievements, their confidence, their results, and start believing they are too far behind to ever catch up. But what they don't see are the years of invisible effort, the daily grind, the countless days of small wins and small improvements that built that success. The person you admire didn't wake up at the top. They climbed there one step at a time, often with fear, doubt, and uncertainty in their heart. The difference is they kept climbing. They didn't wait to be perfect before they started. They started, and through consistency, they became better. Imagine this. Every day you plant a small seed of effort. You water it with focus and protect it with discipline. The first few days you see nothing. Maybe the soil even looks the same, but underneath something is happening. Roots are growing. Strength is forming. Over time, those roots create a foundation strong enough to support growth above the surface. That's how daily improvement works. You might not see immediate results, but something inside you is expanding. Something invisible is becoming powerful. And one day, when you least expect it, your efforts break through the surface. People will call it success, but you'll know it was the result of quiet consistency, not a sudden miracle. You can't build a great life in one day. You build it in small, ordinary moments by doing the right thing again and again, even when it's hard, even when it's boring. Greatness is not created in bursts of motivation. It's built in long stretches of discipline. The difference between average and exceptional is simple. The exceptional keep improving even when it feels like nothing is changing. They don't need applause to keep going. Their reward comes from progress itself. They find pride in showing up. They find meaning in the process because they know that each day, even if imperfect, moves them closer to the life they want. When you focus on daily improvement, failure loses its power to discourage you. You stop expecting every day to be a victory, and you start seeing each day as a step. Some steps are heavy, some are light. Some days you move quickly. Some days you barely crawl forward. But as long as you move, you are progressing. As long as you keep going, you are still in the game. The person who keeps walking even slowly will always beat the person who waits for perfection to begin. Progress may seem small today, but over time it becomes unstoppable. Tiny improvements multiply into habits. Habits shape your identity, and identity determines your destiny. The truth is, your dream is not asking for perfection. It's asking for persistence. Every skill you admire in others can be learned through repetition. Every quality you wish you had can be built through consistency. Want confidence? Show up again and again, even when you're scared. Want strength? Do the hard thing daily until it becomes easy. Want success? Focus on improving one small thing at a time and let those small wins stack up. Don't chase perfection, chase better. Because better every day eventually becomes best. You have to stop waiting for the right moment. There is no perfect time, no perfect condition, no perfect plan. The only perfection that exists is progress in motion. Every expert once stood where you are now, uncertain, inexperienced, unprepared. But they began anyway. They faced embarrassment, criticism, and mistakes. Yet they improved daily. That's what made them extraordinary. The willingness to start messy, to fail forward, to grow a little bit every day. That's the real formula of success. If you wait to be perfect before you start, you'll spend your life waiting. But if you start now and aim to be a little better each day, time itself becomes your greatest ally. Think about how the world's most beautiful things were created. Not instantly, but gradually. The ocean didn't shape the cliffs overnight. It took centuries of persistence. The sculptor doesn't carve perfection in a single strike. It takes thousands of small, patient chisels. Nature itself moves slowly but powerfully because growth takes time, and so does success. How momentum turns effort into power, every small improvement you make, even the tiniest one, is carving you into the person you are meant to become. The process may be slow, but slow progress is still progress. Never forget that even a slow river can cut through solid rock. Not because of its strength, but because of its persistence. Daily improvement also demands humility. You must be willing to admit you don't know everything. You must be willing to learn, to listen, to make mistakes, to be corrected. The ego wants to appear perfect, but growth requires imperfection. You have to be brave enough to look foolish today so that you can be wise tomorrow. Every lesson you learn adds another layer of strength to your foundation. Every day you practice patience and persistence. You build the kind of character that can carry great success when it finally arrives. You see, success is not a destination you reach. It's a direction you move in. It's a lifelong journey of refinement, reflection, and renewal. Each day offers a chance to grow mentally, emotionally, spiritually. If you improve even 1% each day, in a year you will be 37 times stronger, wiser, and better than when you started. That's the power of consistent improvement. It transforms ordinary effort into extraordinary results. So stop looking for perfection in your journey. Perfection is an illusion, and chasing it will only exhaust you. Instead, fall in love with becoming better. Celebrate the small wins, the days you showed up even when tired, the moments you resisted distraction, the times you learned something new. Those moments are not small. They are the building blocks of greatness. Every step you take toward improvement is proof that you are evolving. The secret to unstoppable success is not in being flawless. It's in being consistent. You don't need to be perfect to start. You just need to start. You don't need to be the best today. You just need to be better than you were yesterday. Small wins may seem insignificant, but when repeated over time, they rewrite your entire story. Keep improving daily, and one day you'll wake up and realize that perfection never mattered because progress has already made you unstoppable. Discipline, that quiet, often uncomfortable word that separates those who dream from those who actually achieve. Everyone wants success. Everyone loves the idea of greatness, freedom, and accomplishment. But when it comes time to do the work, to stay consistent, to repeat the same process day after day without applause, that's where most people quit. Because discipline isn't glamorous. It doesn't give you instant results. It doesn't give you quick dopamine. It doesn't make you feel powerful right away, but it is the foundation that carries you when motivation disappears. And trust me, motivation will disappear. Discipline is what keeps you standing when excitement fades. It's what pushes you forward when you no longer feel like moving. It's the bridge between goals and results, between intention and action, between wishing and winning. People often misunderstand success. They think successful people are always motivated, always excited, always ready. But that's a lie. Successful people aren't driven by motivation. They're driven by discipline. They wake up when they don't feel like it. They train when no one's watching. They make the call, write the plan, study the book, practice the skill, not because they're in the mood, but because they've made a promise to themselves. Discipline is doing what needs to be done, especially when you don't want to do it. That's the moment that separates champions from dreamers, the moment when you move forward anyway. You see, motivation is like fire. It burns bright and hot, but it dies quickly. Discipline, however, is like the sun, steady, consistent, and always there, even when clouds cover it. Motivation might get you started, but only discipline will keep you going. Every successful person you admire didn't reach the top because they were constantly inspired. They reached the top because they built systems that didn't depend on emotion. They learned to control their habits instead of being controlled by how they felt. That's the secret. Discipline is freedom. Freedom from weakness, freedom from excuses, freedom from chaos. The truth is, discipline doesn't feel good in the moment. It demands sacrifice. It demands you say no to comfort, no to distractions, no to laziness. But while it feels like pain today, it gives you power tomorrow. Every time you practice discipline, you're not just completing a task. You're building strength inside you. You're training your mind to obey your goals instead of your feelings. You're teaching yourself to stay loyal to your future rather than surrender to your mood. That's the power of discipline. It turns you into your own commander, not your own victim. Think about the people who never reach their potential. It's rarely because they lack talent. It's because they lack consistency. They work hard for a few days, then stop. They start projects, then quit halfway. They make promises, then forget them. Every time you break a promise to yourself, your belief in yourself weakens. But every time you keep a promise, even a small one, your why patience creates winners, confidence grows. That's why discipline is so powerful. It builds self-trust. It makes you realize that you can rely on yourself. You don't need others to push you because you've learned how to push yourself. And when you reach that level of inner control, no one can stop you. Success isn't about doing something extraordinary once. It's about doing something ordinary consistently. It's about showing up every day and giving your best effort, even when you don't feel like it. You may not always be in control of your results, but you are always in control of your effort. Every time you choose effort over excuses, you win a small victory. Every time you show up when you could have stayed comfortable, you're reinforcing your character. And those small wins, those quiet, invisible victories, they build momentum. Discipline is nothing but small wins repeated daily, stacking up until they create a transformation so powerful that everyone else calls it success. The hardest part about discipline is that it's lonely. No one cheers for you when you wake up early. No one claps when you say no to distractions. No one celebrates when you choose focus over comfort. But that's the beauty of it. Discipline is proof of how serious you are about your dreams. It's the test that filters out the pretenders from the believers. Because only those who truly want it will keep going without validation. Only those who are truly committed will keep working when no one is watching. Every time you choose discipline, you're saying to the world, I believe in my future more than I believe in my excuses. The world often rewards visible success, but ignores invisible effort. People see the finished product, the athlete's victory, the entrepreneur's wealth, the artist's masterpiece, but they never see the years of repetition behind it. They never see the late nights, the failures, the sacrifices. They never see the moments when motivation died but discipline carried them through. Behind every success story is a person who decided every day to keep doing the work even when no one cared. That's the essence of discipline. Silent effort that speaks loudly later. And yes, there will be days when you fail to stay disciplined. There will be days when you slip, when you miss a goal, when you fall short. But discipline isn't about perfection. It's about consistency. Missing one day doesn't matter, quitting does. The key is to always return, to always realign yourself with your purpose. The power of discipline lies not in never falling, but in always getting back up. Each time you return stronger, you build resilience. And resilience is the armor that will protect you from failure in the long run. Discipline doesn't give you immediate pleasure, but it gives you long-term peace. When you live with discipline, your future becomes predictable. Not because you know what will happen, but because you know you'll handle whatever comes. You'll no longer rely on luck or timing. You'll rely on preparation and effort. That's what separates those who wish from those who achieve. One prepares while the other waits. Discipline is preparation in action. It's easy to say you want success. It's easy to make plans, to visualize goals, to talk about your dreams. But the real question is, can you stay consistent when the excitement fades? Can you keep doing the boring, repetitive things that don't bring you attention, but bring you progress? Can you stay focused when no one believes in you? When results are invisible? When failure whispers in your ear? Because if you can stay disciplined through that, there's nothing you can't achieve. Discipline transforms chaos into clarity. It turns confusion into control. It makes you reliable, focused, and unstoppable. Every time you choose to act with discipline, you're sharpening your mind like a blade. Over time, that sharpness cuts through fear, procrastination, and doubt. You start doing things not because they're easy, but because they're right. That's when life begins to shift. That's when you stop chasing motivation and start commanding it. So remember this, motivation gets you moving, but discipline keeps you growing. Discipline is not punishment, it's empowerment. It's the quiet force that turns ordinary people into extraordinary achievers. The question is not whether you can stay motivated, it's whether you can stay disciplined when motivation disappears. Because discipline, not motivation, builds empires. It wins championships. It creates freedom. It shapes destinies. Every time you wake up early, every time you choose focus over comfort, every time you push through pain, you are proving to yourself that you are stronger than your excuses. You are rewriting your identity. You are building a version of yourself that's unstoppable. And when discipline becomes your lifestyle, success stops being a dream. It becomes your daily reality. Keep showing up. Keep doing the work. Keep choosing discipline over distraction, because one day the world will look at you and call you lucky. But you'll know the truth. You weren't lucky. You were disciplined. There comes every step matters more. Then you think a point in every journey where the excitement fades, where the noise dies down, and where the real test begins. It's not the beginning that defines your success. It's the endurance that carries you through the middle. The stretch of time where nothing seems to change, where your efforts appear invisible and your results move painfully slow. Most people abandon their dreams during this stage. They mistake stillness for failure, quietness for stagnation, and they forget that success is not an event. It's a rhythm of small wins repeated until the world finally notices. The ones who make it to the top aren't necessarily smarter or more talented. They're the ones who keep going when others lose patience. They are the ones who understand that consistency is the invisible force that separates winners from quitters. Each day you show up, even when it's difficult, you're building something far greater than success. You're building strength, resilience, and self-respect. You're proving to yourself that your word means something. You're showing life that you're serious about your goals. Most people want fast results, but they don't realize that success has its own pace. It grows silently like roots beneath the ground before the tree ever breaks the surface. You can't rush it. You can't demand it. You can only earn it through relentless persistence and small wins that stack up over time. Imagine you're pushing a huge rock up a hill. In the beginning, it feels impossible. It doesn't move. You give everything you have, and it still barely shifts. But the key is every push matters. Even the smallest nudge adds to your momentum. One day, that same rock starts to roll. And once it gains momentum, you no longer have to push as hard. That's what success feels like. It's heavy at first. It's frustrating. It feels like nothing is happening. But if you stay consistent, if you keep pushing even when it seems pointless, eventually momentum starts working in your favor. That's when everything changes. Small wins are like those pushes. They may not give you instant satisfaction, but they keep you moving. Every time you choose to act instead of procrastinate, you're pushing your rock forward. Every time you stay focused when distractions tempt you, you're adding weight to your discipline. Every small victory brings you closer to that moment when the rock starts rolling on its own. And once momentum kicks in, it's hard to stop. That's when you realize all those small, invisible wins were never wasted. They were compounding quietly, waiting for the right time to explode into visible success. But the truth is, the middle part of the journey is where most people give up. Not because it's impossible, but because it's invisible. When you put in effort after effort without immediate results, doubt begins to whisper in your mind. You start wondering if all this work is even worth it. You begin to question your purpose, your direction, even your ability. That's when the small wins become more important than ever. They're your reminders that progress is happening, even when you can't see it. Every small improvement is evidence that you're not the same person you were yesterday. And that's what keeps you alive in the fight. You don't have to take giant leaps every day, just one small intentional step forward. That step could be as simple as learning something new, improving one habit, or pushing through one more hour of effort when your mind wants to rest. Success doesn't require perfection. It requires persistence. Small wins are the antidote to discouragement. They give you something to hold on to when everything else feels uncertain. When you focus on them, you start to realize that growth isn't loud. It's quiet, steady, and patient. The world may not applaud you for your small wins, but your future self will thank you for every one of them. One of the biggest lessons in life is understanding that success doesn't build strength. When no one believes, always show up the way you expect it to. Sometimes your progress is disguised as struggle. Sometimes your small wins are buried beneath failure. But if you zoom out, if you look at the bigger picture, you'll see that every effort was a piece of the puzzle. Even your setbacks teach you something, refine you, strengthen you. The small wins you collect during tough times are the most valuable because they prove your commitment. They prove that even when life tested you, you didn't break. You see, the small wins are not just steps toward your goal. They are shaping your identity along the way. Each one changes how you see yourself. Every time you accomplish something small, your belief in yourself grows stronger. And belief is everything. You can't build anything great without belief. When you trust your process, when you have faith that your efforts will eventually pay off, you stop being afraid of slow progress. You stop comparing yourself to others. You start focusing on your own lane, your own rhythm. That's when real growth begins. People often ask, what's the secret to staying motivated? The answer is simple. Stop chasing motivation and start chasing consistency. Motivation is temporary. Consistency is permanent. When you rely on motivation, you only move when you feel like it. But when you rely on discipline and small wins, you move even when you don't feel like it. And that's when you separate yourself from the crowd. Every small win you achieve reinforces your identity as someone who follows through. It becomes a self-feeding cycle. The more consistent you are, the stronger you become, the easier it is to stay consistent. In the journey of success, time is your greatest ally, but only if you use it wisely. People overestimate what they can achieve in a week, but underestimate what they can achieve in a year of small, consistent wins. The difference between where you are now and where you want to be isn't a single big move. It's 1,000 small ones. You can't skip steps. You can't cheat the process. You have to embrace the slow, consistent grind. It's not glamorous, but it's powerful. The truth is, time rewards those who respect it. If you keep planting the seeds of effort, eventually the harvest will come. Every time you think your small efforts don't matter, remember this. A single drop of water doesn't seem powerful, but over time it can carve through stone. That's what persistence does. It may look soft, but it's relentless. It keeps going long after others have given up. And one day, the same consistency that felt monotonous will turn into mastery. The same actions that seem small will become your biggest advantage. While others wait for perfect timing, you'll already be years ahead, built on a foundation of small wins that no one saw coming. So when the journey feels slow, when a press feels invisible, don't quit. Don't lose faith in your process. Remember that your greatest strength lies in your ability to keep showing up. Every single small win you achieve today is shaping the life you'll live tomorrow. Keep stacking them. Keep believing in them, because one day those small wins will form a wall so high that people will call it success. And they'll have no idea how long you built it, one brick at a time. There comes a time in every dreamer's journey when they finally understand that success was never about the destination. It was about who they became on the way there. The long nights, the early mornings, the silent battles, the failures no one saw, the moments of doubt, the constant grind. These are the things that shape you. Success is not about the applause you receive at the end. It's about the discipline, the patience, and the consistency you built along the way. And when you look back, you realize that every small win, every minor improvement, every day you didn't quit was not just helping you achieve your dream. It was transforming you into the kind of person capable of living that dream. That's the hidden truth behind every success story. The goal is not to arrive somewhere, but to evolve into someone. Each small win strengthens you in ways that money, fame, or recognition never could. Every day you make the choice to show up. You are building invisible muscles. The muscle of how small wins create big confidence, endurance, the muscle of resilience, the muscle of focus. These muscles don't appear overnight. They grow slowly through repetition and challenge, through days when you push yourself even when no one believes in you. The accumulation of these invisible victories turns you into someone unshakable, someone unstoppable. Life doesn't reward those who do things once. It rewards those who repeat small disciplines with intention. Anyone can be great for a day, but few can stay consistent for years. Small wins repeated daily create a level of excellence that can't be faked. Over time, they form habits, and habits form your destiny. When you commit to those daily wins, something profound happens. Your actions begin to align with your purpose, and your life begins to follow the rhythm of progress. You stop chasing results and start embodying growth. You no longer ask, when will I succeed? Because you realize that by living with consistency, you already are succeeding. Success is not built in the spotlight. It's built in solitude. It's built in those quiet hours when you choose work over comfort, learning over entertainment, purpose over distraction. No one applauds you when you wake up early to improve yourself. No one notices when you stay up late sharpening your craft. But those are the moments that define your story. The world will only see the results later, but you'll know that those results were born in silence. The small wins you collect in private become the foundation of your public success. That's the truth most people don't want to accept. Greatness begins behind closed doors. Every small win is a vote for the person you want to become. When you choose discipline over laziness, you're casting a vote for strength. When you choose learning over ignorance, you're voting for growth. When you choose persistence over giving up, you're voting for courage. The more votes you cast, the stronger that identity becomes. Soon, your habits begin to define you. You no longer need to force yourself to act. Your actions flow naturally because you've built the character of a winner. That's the real magic of small wins. They don't just change your circumstances, they change who you are at the core. Think of a tree growing in silence. Every day it stands tall, reaching for sunlight, drawing nourishment from the soil, weathering the storms. It doesn't grow overnight, but every single day it's doing something unseen, uncelebrated. Then one day it becomes so strong and so tall that everyone notices. That's how success works. The world will only see the final form, not the seasons of growth it endured. Your small wins are those silent seasons. They are your roots anchoring you, feeding your strength. Without them, the first storm would destroy you. But because of them, you stand firm. Most people give up because they misinterpret the pace of success. They think if it's not happening fast, it's not happening at all. But life doesn't move at your speed. It moves at the speed of maturity. You can't skip the waiting period. You can't fast forward through the process. The growth you seek requires time because real transformation happens gradually. The small wins you collect are not meaningless. They're preparing you for something greater. Every delay is teaching you patience. Every obstacle is building endurance. Every setback is sharpening your strategy. Without those, even if success arrived early, you wouldn't be ready to hold on to it. You see, success is not just about reaching the top. It's about staying there. And staying there requires strength that only comes from years of discipline. You can't fake that strength. You can't borrow it. You earn it one small win at a time. That's why the process matters. Final lesson. The person you become more than the prize. The prize will give you comfort, but the process will give you power. The person you become while chasing your dream is worth far more than anything you achieve at the end. Because the truth is, once you achieve your dream, you'll create new ones. The hunger doesn't end, it just evolves. That's the beauty of growth. There is no finish line. There will be days when you feel invisible, when your effort seems wasted, when you wonder if any of this matters. But remember this, the most powerful transformations happen when no one is watching. Every great artist, leader, or creator you admire has gone through that invisible phase. They all faced the silence, the doubt, the grind. But they kept going because they trusted the process. They knew that the journey itself was sculpting them into someone capable of handling success. The waiting, the failing, the learning, that was all part of the preparation. The small wins weren't just stepping stones. They were lessons in disguise. There's something extraordinary that happens when you stop craving recognition and start respecting effort. When you stop doing things to impress others and start doing them to improve yourself, you gain a sense of inner peace that no external reward can match. You begin to find joy in the process, pride in your progress, and purpose in your persistence. You stop being addicted to outcomes and start being devoted to excellence. That's when you realize that the journey itself was the reward all along. Your small wins are your silent victories. They're the whispers of progress that no one else can hear. They remind you that you are still moving, still fighting, still growing. Every day you keep going. You're proving to yourself that you have what it takes. And one day when you look back, you'll see that all those small wins were not small at all. They were everything. They were the moments that built your character, your vision, your strength, your future. Success in the end is not about luck or timing. It's about persistence. It's about collecting small wins so consistently that failure runs out of chances to stop you. You don't need to do something extraordinary once. You need to do something ordinary every day with extraordinary commitment. That's what separates dreamers from achievers. That's what transforms potential into power. So keep showing up. Keep doing the small things that no one else sees. Keep honoring your process even when it feels slow. Because one day, all those small wins will align into something massive, something that looks like overnight success to everyone else. But you'll know the truth. You'll know it was never overnight. It was built over countless days of dedication, faith, and small victories that no one saw but you. And in that moment, you won't just feel successful. You'll feel fulfilled because you'll realize that success was never about reaching the peak, but about the climb itself. The climb that tested you, taught you, and transformed you. The climb that made you stronger, wiser, and unshakable. The climb that turned every small win into the foundation of an extraordinary life. So remember this, your dream doesn't demand perfection. It demands persistence. You don't need to conquer the mountain today. Just take one more step. You don't need to be the best. Just be consistent. Each day you wake up and do what you said you would do. Even when you don't feel like it, you are winning. Each time you turn discipline into action, belief into work, and patience into progress, you are building something powerful. One day, those small wins will add up, and the world will call it success. But you will know the truth. You will know that success wasn't one giant leap. It was hundreds of small wins repeated, refined, and reinforced over time. That's the real secret of lasting achievement. Not luck, not shortcuts. Just small wins stacked day after day until the ordinary becomes extraordinary and the impossible becomes inevitable.